Why? I hate that this is a thing
No,
now.
that was actually an
I hate
accident.
this.
No, that time I wasn't thinking about the start of the episode.
We don't believe you.
In fact, I meant to play the audio from this trailer. Everybody enjoy the audio from this trailer as our
A little amuse-bouche, you know what I mean? A little palate primer for what is to come in our discussion today.
Quick appetizer, for the meal that we're about to serve up on this show.
I hated that. Also.
Is it playing?
No.
All right, well, cool. It's not even playing. That's sweet. We'll fix that in a sec. How about now? There it is.
Should I be afraid? Should we be afraid? I'm not ready for this. I want to be honest with all of you. I've been hacking into government and corporate systems all over the country.
You're going to get yourself killed.
But you should be scared, because it is the truth.
Okay, all right. I think that
Act-
about covers it.
Yeah.
So
I hope your boosh is as amused as I am.
Oh.
So those were clips, or specifically 15 seconds of the trailer of Fateful Findings. Neil Breen's 2013
What's
film.
that name again?
Oh, Neil Breen? Neil Breen, everybody, is a filmmaker from Las Vegas. Or I don't know if he's from there, but we know he lives there. And he makes movies that
He
are...
is a director, writer, actor, visionary,
There it is.
prophet.
Eats and eats.
yeah.
Bed and bed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We'll get into
absolutely.
that. Yeah. So, yeah. He does pretty much everything in the process of making his movies besides other people acting in it, I take it.
Well, I guess other people being in it.
Yeah, there's other people in it,
Yeah.
and then I guess there are a couple shots
I'm just making
that,
the distinction.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. There are a couple shots that move where he's in it, so clearly he got somebody there to turn the camera.
Yes. There's some drone work as well later on.
That could be him, too.
I don't know. There's one shot where it wouldn't have been possible.
God, I
but
forgot about all those awful drones.
yeah, but
All right, sorry.
his movies are not really like other movies.
Anything else you've seen. All right, the closest comparison is Tommy Wiseau.
I think
of
that's the
Room
closest
fame.
comparison, but I think that they are.
That doesn't do it
He is
justice.
a different beast entirely.
Yes. So he is the genre of so bad that it's funny movies, but in a way that's pretty unique to us.
And that is only allowed to happen when somebody has control over every step in the creative process of something, which in a way leads to, it might lead to something worse, but it does lead to something almost beautiful, right? Where it's how often do you get to see a person's mind on the screen with nothing lost in translation?
No, yeah, it's not often. And he only gets it done because he funds everything himself. Like all the budget comes from him and his real estate business.
Yes. We're not trying to blow up his spot too much.
Yeah, sorry, Neil. But yeah, do you want to get into what he looks like?
I'd rather not.
All right, yeah, I guess you kind of just have to see him.
He's not. If you saw a still image of him, that's one thing. He looks like a sort of a leathery, like a leathery John Bon Jovi, or like a leathery. I think he looks like a cross between Spock and Garfunkel.
Yeah, okay. A lot of loose skin.
A lot of loose skin, the peaked eyebrows.
Oh yeah, eyelids that fold over his eyes, kind
What?
of. Like, look, if you look at his eyes when he blinks, his eyelids are like folded, and the folded part exceeds like the lid.
That's very strange.
It is very strange.
But when he moves, I feel like it becomes much more chilling.
yeah,
He
it's not
carries
comfortable.
himself with a uncanny grace that I find much like the mom swimming through air in Hereditary.
Yeah.
I find it both elegant and deeply upsetting.
You find Neil Breen elegant.
I think that maybe graceful. Yes, he often strokes people's faces with the back of his hand.
And his long fingernails.
He has very long fingers, long fingernails.
Yeah, long fingers. Let's make that distinction.
Billowy shirts as well. I mean, that's not an
yeah.
essential part of how he looks, but despite presumably this being his dream, right?
Yeah.
He is unable to deliver a line.
Yeah, no way. He puts emotion behind it somewhat, but it just comes out flat.
Well, I think he has an interesting relationship with emotion, but we'll get into that.
Okay, so he's got 5 movies total. First one
Can
came
you list
out.
the titles?
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
about
okay,
to.
yeah, sorry.
All right, can you just let me talk and not interrupt every now and then? Thanks, Billy. Anyway, so in 2007, he came out with his debut film, Double Down, where he is a hacker who lives in the desert and lives off of tuna, and he's constantly hacking into government secrets and whatnot. Bunch of stock footage and other stuff that's not really relevant, but
It gained some amount of traction as like a
Yes.
cult curiosity.
yeah, people on like YouTube and Reddit and those circles of the internet like found this guy somehow and realized his potential. Then he's got his second film from 2009. It's called I Am Here, period, now.
So not an ellipses.
Non-ellipses, one more.
One
Yeah.
it's dramatic and then some.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's got one of the ones we're going to be talking about today, Fateful Findings, which came out in 2013.
Sort of his breakout, sort of his critical.
Critical and just like wide appeal.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. Peak Neil Breen. And then 2016's Pass Through, another one we're going to be talking about, and that's through THRU. And then we got one that came out last year technically, called Twisted Pair. We haven't seen it yet because it's not really available to us, and apparently he plays 2 of himself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Identical twins.
Identical twins. Jack and Jill style.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, but the only 2 we're going to be talking about today are Fateful Findings and Pass Through because that's all we could find.
They are intentionally made extremely difficult to find.
Yes.
He
You can
took-
only find these. Wait, what were you going to say, Billy?
He took the first 2 completely offline. Didn't he say that in his website?
Yes, he did. The Double Down and I Am Here Now used to be on YouTube in full for like years, and that's how I watched these like 5 years ago. They're all gone. He stripped.
It's like they never existed.
Exactly. You can only get his movies through his websites, and he's got 5 websites, one for each movie. And like doubledown.com, fatefulfindings.biz, things like that. And then you can only order the discs through those websites, and you get them in like one of those clear CD cases. And there's no telling what you're gonna get. Apparently,
You read online that there's like snafus and like mix-ups and stuff.
yeah, apparently like people will order like 3 DVDs, and then he'll send them like the wrong ones or like extras, and there's apparently no telling what. Sorry, Joe is actually calling me right now, and I don't know why. It's really bothering me. I'm not
Absolutely
picking up.
do not answer it.
No, I'm not giving him the
Absolutely
satisfaction.
do not answer it.
He didn't watch these with us. He fell asleep during Pass Through, so he's not getting this. But yeah,
Doesn't he also sign each individual copy
He signs
that he
each
sends you
copy.
in the mail?
yep, and they're $25 a pop.
I
That
think
is-
they're more than that. I remember looking at.
Oh, are they?
What was it? I think Pass Through. No, one of the earlier ones. I see.
I'm going to
here, I am
fatefulfindings.biz.
here now. I think it was like $28. They were almost 30, but
Sure,
definitely
yeah.
in that range. But I feel like that's just in general really expensive for a movie. What are like huge blockbuster films? Like what do those cost?
Yeah, no.
nowadays?
The
If you require
the
physical
DVD
copy?
the DVD prices range apparently. Fateful Findings is $26, and then I Am Here Now is $28.
I almost feel though, if we want to start talking about sort of who he is and his creative process, I'm trying to think of like who would I compare this to, and it sort of goes back to where it all started, which is that he is almost like an M. Night Shyamalan
Oh man.
type mind.
How so?
His like insane. I would say if you combine Tommy Wiseau and M. Night Shyamalan, you would get Neil Breen.
Okay. Elaborate.
Just in the out there concepts, like the bogged down in like bizarrity, the ego, the self-insertion, the harping on just like the ideas that he thought was cool and wanted to throw in there. So the movie is a dramatic film?
Yeah, it's a drama. Drama/fantasy. That's what it says on Google.
So, you wanna run through some of what happens, or some moments that stick out to you, or vaguely?
Let's just start out at the beginning. You start talking about it, and I'm gonna find the sound effect.
What sound effect?
The sound effect that plays like 6 times throughout the movie.
Oh, the
you know
like
exactly what I'm
ghostly
talking about.
apparition.
Yes.
So, yeah, we have a young boy and girl in the Nevada desert, playing, not a care in the world. They pass by a skull, some sort of like cow skull in the desert, or ram skull, that turns as if to follow them. At this point, they find a mushroom underneath a tree, which they then dig up. Inside the mushroom is a box. Upon the discovery of the box, the girl exclaims, "Treasure." They open the box, put some gems in it, because you're supposed to always put gems in buried treasure you find, as the girl says again. She then writes, "This is a happy day," in her notebook, and then they bury the box again.
And then it disappears.
But also, the mushroom that they found, it literally turns into the box in like some sort of special effect, like
it fades.
Apparition.
Like
type
one fades away and the other
way.
one fades in at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
And then there was this black, like pebble, I guess, in there, sort of like a smooth stone.
It looks like one of those magnetic stones that you'd get 2 of, throw them up in the air, and they
yeah,
go.
Well, but that one,
or like a gem even that you'd
Yeah.
find at like a gem store. But
I found the sound effect. If
all right,
anybody
so
wants me to
yeah, we got some sound effects. He does all the music, all the sound editing, all the
everything.
everything.
All right.
Let's
So, just imagine at any point during the movie, the screen will quickly cut to something.
like this shot of the desert.
Yeah, like just like a field, a wall, anything. And then you'll see a clip art animation of some smoke
Yes.
or something, just like, spreading.
Adobe
and
Illustrator.
then you hear this.
What a great sound.
And then we fast forward several years.
Oh boy. Oh, okay, so he gets hit by a car at the beginning.
Yes.
and-
So he's having a one-sided phone conversation where we see
Yes.
his wife in the kitchen, and she's talking. We get the one side of the phone conversation where she says like, "How are you doing?" I don't even remember his name. It's like Kevin or Carter or something.
does he have a name?
Yeah, he does.
He definitely
On
does.
Google, he doesn't have a name. It's probably Kevin. That sounds about
But
right.
it's like, how was your day?
Dylan.
Oh, Dylan, interesting. Something, and then it cuts back to him walking across the street from an office building, not speaking on the phone.
Yeah. But he has it.
He has
'Cause
it,
he
but
dropped-
is
it's
clearly
an
not
NV2.
participating in a conversation. And then he is suddenly and unceremoniously hit by a Rolls Royce.
Yes. And then a pair of high heels walks
Yes.
out of that car, approaches the body on the ground, Neil Breen's body, gives him the rock.
The spirit is in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I believe they disappear, right?
No.
No, the pair of shoes disappears.
The pair of shoes does not disappear. The pair of shoes gets back in the car.
Oh, does it?
Paramedics take him away.
Oh, no.
It's not until later in the hospital does our first person disappear.
Oh, okay, that's right. Also, carpeted
He's
hospital.
taken to a carpeted hospital
Just let that idea simmer for like 20
where
seconds.
he has a sort of like he's wrapped in gauze, half his face. He's got a very Phantom
Can
of
you
the
call
Opera,
that gauze?
a very Phantom of the
I'd say
Opera
so.
look. as his friend, who is just a sort of like veiny middle-aged man.
Jim?
Oh, they don't even introduce him. Yeah, so he's laying there, and his wife comes up, who we've seen before, and she's, oh, I'm so sad that this happened to you. And then all of a sudden, this creepy, like,
Big muscly
goatee wearing guy just comes on in. He's like, oh no, and he looked like he was on the verge of tears almost, and he was just very emotional.
best actor in the movie.
You know who he
Oddly
visually
enough.
reminded me of, and this is kind of a deep cut. But do either of you guys remember that Nathan For You episode where he has the workout training? Where it's like that dude who's like a little old to look that ripped, and it's just a like strange.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
He
about.
looks like they test like supplements on him.
Yeah. He doesn't juice, he milks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is one of the like 4 characters in this, or
Main
maybe
character.
5 characters.
I would say there's a
I'd say
solid like
5.
6 or 7
and I'd say
characters.
this is the first hint at.
You guys are forgetting the therapists.
Well, sorry, my bad. This is sort of the first hint of how Neil Breen perceives himself or desires to be perceived by others, where we have met his character. We have not heard his character speak, except in brief voiceover, but he's hit by a car, and then all of his friends and family come to tell us how good like this dude wants to be at his own funeral so bad.
It's like the end of The Room when they're like, "Oh, Johnny was such a
Johnny
good
was
man."
so much better than all of us.
Yeah, exactly that.
I wish if anyone had a shred of his kindness, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, something like that.
I feel like that's his envision for himself in almost every movie. I know we've only seen 2. You've seen more than 2, though.
I've seen 4.
I've seen Double Down.
You've seen Double Down?
Yeah, and I feel like that one, the most focuses on his career as a prolific hacker.
Yes,
and
that
in this,
one's-
it's just sort of assumed that we know that he's a prolific.
The same
hacker.
character.
Yeah, he plays the same character in every
Yeah.
film. He's some hacker guy who's going to
spiritual
take
powers.
down. Oh, of course,
Yeah.
you need to have the powers, and he's going to take down the government and all the corrupt.
He's going to expose
individuals.
both national
National
and
and
international
can't forget about
secrets.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of shots of people's feet for reasons we haven't figured out.
So many.
Lot of feet.
Yeah,
Like
a
the
lot of
first-
feet.
But not in like a weird,
Not in a
creepy
Quentin
twin
Tarantino
Tarantino way.
it felt almost like people didn't sign off on having their faces used or something.
Or like, Neil Breen was trying to hide the fact that he was the dude in the dress shoes.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. So then this pair of dress shoes appears and then disappears, and that's like
6
there's
times
magic.
in the movie.
So like, there's a lot of that, and then it's him recovering from this, where he goes home. He just unplugs himself from hospital treatment, goes home
With the face
with the
stuff
mask
still
still,
on.
showers, and he rinses off the blood in a dramatic scene that I feel he had pictured in his head. Then his wife finds that he's come home and walks nude into the shower with him, where they
Well,
share.
no, she is clothed. He's nude.
Oh, you're right,
She's
you're
in a
right.
nightgown.
But so then that's even weirder, if anything.
It's creepy.
Well, he bleeds profusely, and half his face is wrapped, and they share a tender embrace.
I think
There's-
that's the weirdest part, is that he had the gauze
I
on his
do
face.
not think that's the weirdest
and-
part.
Well, that's
It's
fair,
very
but
uncomfortable,
they're just
though, 'cause it's
standing
the
there
most
in a-
apparent.
They're standing there in a running shower. There's water pouring all over them. His wife's in a nightgown. He's got the gauze all over his face, and he's just completely naked. And they spin around a couple times, and you can tell after seeing that he is infatuated with how
don't
his body
see-
looks, or he just has this idea of how a man and a wife act. I feel like he's never been married.
I don't
And
think
he's just like, is this what they do? I think this is what you do when you're married. You just dance and hug each other.
Yeah,
in
when
the
you get back from the
shower,
hospital
spin
from breaking
around.
out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know how infatuated with his body or physicality he is, so much as he is infatuated with that as just an extension of himself.
That's fair.
You see a lot of his flabby ass in this movie.
A lot. He is naked in a bunch of it.
Yeah. All the scenes that are in the black room. Okay, so throughout the movie, this doesn't matter because it doesn't make sense. Throughout the movie, there are shots of what is clearly a room with a bunch of like black trash bags
like
taped
black
to the wall.
tarp.
Yeah, black
Yeah.
tarps. Yeah,
That he sits oily and naked in.
yeah. He sits in them naked, like back facing it, so we can just see his butt crack. And then there would be like a faceless woman in there who's also naked but not showing much. And you don't ever see her face, but you can clearly see Neil's. There's stuff like that throughout this movie. And
So that's
and also
inside the stone, right?
the really thick
Maybe.
book.
yes.
There's
Oh
also
my
that really
gosh,
thick
yeah.
book that was in the storage space
Yes.
in the beginning. I have a theory that the black room is the storage space, and he just had the book prop.
I think that the black space is inside the stone.
No, yeah,
And I think that that's also where all the Avengers went. That's
Yes.
my theory.
yeah. But yeah, no, I do believe that Neil Breen's like, yeah, that's inside the stone in the movie because it's very box-like.
Uh-huh.
But I think where it was filmed, it's definitely that storage unit.
Also, so I watched this movie again today, and the opening shot is a long walk down
Yes.
the storage space, sort of corridor ending
To
at
the
the
book.
book, which again
it's like a prop book.
doesn't matter.
It's like really thick and like old looking, so it's like that looks like you got from Party City or something.
It looks like he took the spine off of, or the spine and cover off of 4 large books, and then just glued them together, and then like
In like a
put
leather
cardboard
casing, yeah.
over all of them.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
also we forgot to mention, before he's an adult, that girl that he was hanging out with in the one scene where they
The
find
blonde
the
girl?
treasure, she moves away, and
Oh,
it was this
right.
dramatic scene where the kids
don't
like
know
sort of
about that.
walking. I mean, I
Hey,
would
dude,
like to
I
think
was
that
in
that's what he
tears.
that's what he meant for it to,
Yeah.
I guess.
It was supposed to be
show-
dramatic.
Yeah, and he's just walking like slowly
car
as they're
is
driving
not
away.
moving very
No.
fast.
He's like, "Don't go."
Goodbye.
So, yeah,
Goodbye.
I think Billy is. You're right though to touch on the infatuation because I think no matter what the reason surrounding this film and specifically his role within this film are infused with a raw sensuality. For whatever reason.
Yes.
Which is at odds with the fact that I don't think that this man understands human intimacy.
I could see that because there's also the scene when him and his wife are like in the computer room.
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh,
he's like
so weird.
tearing her clothes. and
They
you can
rip
tell,
each other's clothes off as they
Yeah.
like peck each other on the mouth.
Yep.
Okay, every time him and his wife are supposed to be cute together, you can tell he's like, I'm acting and I'm
Yeah.
into it. She is not.
Yeah.
She's like
Nope.
smiling, but then like also you can tell it's like a fake smile. She's avoiding having to kiss him.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff, super awful and uncomfortable. Not a big
Mm-hmm.
fan of that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there's that, but also there's another plot line that gets discarded or not discarded, but sort of is the neighbor's daughter, who is
Oh my god!
who is coyly trying to seduce him.
It's the veiny dude and his wife's daughter.
Yes.
We'll get into their relationship in a
That,
sec.
it's weird. That watching it again is my favorite part. He
Yeah.
is my favorite part.
He is
Veiny Man is my
hilarious.
favorite
Yes.
character in the entire film.
But yeah, their daughter keeps doing things to Neil, but like not doing things, just like going into his pool naked.
No, like, and she
It's-
like is looking over and is like, "Hey there,
Dylan."
Dylan." Like she's trying to seduce him, and he's like, "You have to stop doing this."
Yeah.
I caught her trying to take a bath in my house.
Yeah.
It's only 2 scenes though, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause-
It is only
and it,
2
and it
scenes.
pops up without any
No setup, no payoff.
Nothing. He's just sitting there in his room because he's also a writer. So he's sitting there in his
Yeah,
room,
author.
writing, I guess,
And
or
hacking,
yeah,
writing.
doing
Actually,
both.
guys, it's revealed in the end he wasn't writing anything all along. He's been hacking the government.
Yes,
He's
secrets.
hacking, and
Sorry,
he
spoilers.
just- he just looks out the window, and then there's this girl, the neighbor's daughter, who's just taking off her clothes, and then gets in the pool, and then she turns around, sees him, and then she gets out, and then
Yeah.
I think 5 minutes later they just show her in a shower, and then all of a sudden he's just in the room with her after they switch
With
shots.
like a towel.
Yeah, and
like,
he's
"Ah."
like, "What are you doing? Stop this!" And
It's-
that's it.
It just feels weird though to include this because it's not because it ends up coming down like all things in this movie as he's so good, right? He's so good that he refuses these advances. But it's weird because you're also the one who like wrote and directed it. So like you're making this person like try to be seductive to your character so that you can like, what's the angle here? I don't know. But it's very strange. No interaction in this is normal. Yeah. In fact, I think a big theme is the sort of crude impression of human normalcy.
And substance abuse.
I mean, I think even before then, when there's just the scene of him and like the 3 other people we've met so far sitting around the table, not having food. There's no
nothing,
food at their
drinking
dinner
water
party.
and beer.
Drinking water and beer. The daughter's like, I'm doing a project on African elephants, and then Jim is like, Dylan doesn't want to hear about that, and then Dylan's like, actually, I would like to hear about that, which is like a very cool. I don't have a kid, but if I did, I'd be a better dad than you. Like,
also, Jim is drunk during this.
Jim's drunk during most of the screen
usual.
time.
Yeah. And throughout the whole film, you can tell that Neil has very strong opinions about
Any
a lot of
substance.
things.
Alcohol,
including alcohol
drugs, and sex.
and substance
Alcohol, drugs,
use.
sex, prescribed drugs.
Anything that alters the human mind. Every character except him is, I guess, tainted or
Some sort of
cursed
flaw,
with something.
like crucial flaw.
It's either they use drugs or they're drunk all the time.
Oh, yeah.
His wife takes pills, which she
Steals from him.
Yeah, and she mentions it in such a weird way. What did she say? It was
She says, I need them. I need them. Like I need them to function, but I'm lost without them. She's like, I don't think you know how the word "but" works. But like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of like, I take these so I can feel normal, or just like something.
It was like, I take these painkillers so I can stop feeling pain.
Yeah,
and it's
that was
just
it.
Like
Yeah.
something so like, oh, duh.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you read the first line.
Yeah,
of,
you read what
Wikipedia.
painkillers meant.
Yeah.
Jim, the neighbor, drinks as
Would
and-
you
and
like a drink?
He says a drinky poo, and then sort of like
That's like one of the opening lines for him, right?
Yeah.
After the hospital scene.
He like keeps trying to peer pressure his wife into drinking with him.
Yeah.
And then we see again in this dude's mind, this is what he thinks like people are like. Where when this dude's mad, he goes out to work on his car.
Yep.
And my favorite thing maybe in this entire movie is that in his garage, it's just the posters on the wall are posters of like cars, like race cars and like hot babes in race cars, like what an 8-year-old would have in their room. And this is because this is what Neil is like. This is what, a red-blooded man is like. Like this is like what this type of person does. And then the wife comes out and is like, you'd rather drink out here and work on your car? And he's like, yeah, I would. Working here gives me more pleasure than you have in recent times.
Yeah. That's the first of 2 scenes in that garage involving him fixing that car.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a cool barbecue with, again, just like the same set of characters, yet there's audio of like crowd crosstalk and like
it sounds like it's a
background noise.
full party when
Despite
there's
it
really just
being
like 6 people.
The same group
on like
of
a
weird-looking
patio.
people.
Also, we're then introduced to 2 new characters. We're introduced. Well, I guess not so new. We're introduced to a blonde woman who seems vaguely familiar, and her fiance. What was his name?
I don't know. Michael.
Was it?
Yeah, it's only mentioned once, but it's Michael.
Yeah, and that dude's dopey looking.
Yeah, he just looks weird.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the blonde woman is the girl from the beginning, and Neil Breen only knows this because didn't the notebook that she wrote
drops her notebook.
Yeah, and it's the same notebook
It's
that
a
she
magical
wrote. It's
day.
a magical day, and he was like, It's you.
And she's
It's
like,
you.
I've been carrying around this notebook
I
all
knew
my
it
life.
was you.
Yeah.
And the best part of it, I think, is when they introduce her, it's obvious that she is maybe 35.
Yeah.
And he easily looks like he's 60, 65. And they're like, wow, it's been so long. And
Since we
they were
were
supposed to be the
kids.
same age. And once one's clearly older than the other.
It's a real gaudy
it's really
situation.
funny.
She grew more beautiful, I mean, and then he went through the process of whatever happens to jerky.
Like raisins. Like you leave out a grape for too long.
He got brine.
He got that wispy hair that flows in the wind so gracefully.
He really does, and it doesn't help that he carries himself like Voldemort. Like but like, yeah. So
He moves with like it looks like his arms are like kind of in armrests
Yeah,
whenever
yeah,
he's walking. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Like they're like a little
absolutely.
pointed up, and his wrists are still pointed down. His hands are just dead weight. Like,
yeah. It's very. I found it really uncanny, for lack of a better word. But do you think the dudes in this movie are weird looking intentionally because like
No.
he doesn't want to be?
No, it's all he could find.
Yeah, I feel like
You don't
that's
think
all
he isn't
no.
like? And there can't be a more handsome guy than me.
I feel
No.
like that's all he could find. This
First off,
movie,
Jim is much more handsome than him. Just get that right
Jim
out
is
the way.
very weird as well.
Jim's weird looking, but like he's not Neil. Okay, like
That's true. Yeah, no. There's one of them that I would like rather sit next to on the bus.
Yes. Yeah, I'd imagine sitting next to Neil Breen has got to be unsettling. Sorry if you're listening to this, Neil.
but but yeah. So then he ends up seeing her, right, and sort of
They hold hands for a second, and then his
Yeah.
wife sees, and and then they're like, "Oh no, we can't hold hands
Yes.
anymore."
But
After
then-
meeting each other for the
Then
first time, 30
Jim
years.
hits on Dylan's wife.
while she's grilling.
Yes, and then
Oh,
she
yeah.
pushes him away, and he proceeds to, because I don't know if you know this, but he's partial to the drink. He falls down, knocking like 3 plates of corn on the cob onto the floor, knocking into a trash
like
can.
very blatantly, just
That's
like
such a
fake
good
stumbling
scene.
and knocking
Yeah.
stuff onto the ground.
Which is kind of a theme in the whole movie, is knocking more things onto the ground than are necessary.
oh my god.
There
Forgot
are
about the laptops.
so many scenes where he throws, out of frustration, a book at one of his 4 laptops.
One of his books.
One of his books at one of his 4 laptops. Perhaps one of the laptops onto the ground. He spills his coffee on one of the laptops.
All right, if you want to know what this guy really is, just look up Fateful Findings coffee scene. Watch that video. It's only like 50 seconds of your time. It explains everything for us. You'll get the gist.
And then at the one point when he and his wife make love, he throws 2, not 1 but 2 laptops just directly onto the ground.
Yeah, he just grabs a book and
Yes.
throws. Oh, and also, whenever Neil is smiling or experiencing joy, it's kind of the worst.
Yeah,
like,
his
moment.
smile
It's unnerving.
feels.
Insane.
I don't like it.
It
I don't
feels
seeing
like
his
how
teeth.
you feel when you see body horror. Like it feels like when you see somebody's like arm bend wrong. And
Yeah,
you're
like
"Huh."
yeah, like in The Thing when like the dog has like many parts. It's
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. You don't like seeing his teeth.
I feel like he just has a vague understanding of how emotions work.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
every time he's supposed to feel strongly, or really any character, because I feel like his wife does this as well. They just throw things. They'll pick
Yeah.
up anything that's around them and just throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
And I feel
How's
like
he supposed to express anger?
Or
Yeah,
they'll either do that or say how they're feeling. They'll literally
Yeah.
do that or be like,
very
I am
blatantly-
upset.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm so confused. The best thing, and I took this as a note, all the dialogue sounds like they're lying about whatever they're talking about.
yeah,
Like
it's like that scene in Anchorman where he's like, "I was trying to hang myself."
but he's like, there's like every scene, every line of dialogue sounds like, somebody is like, he gets accused by his wife of having an affair, and he's like, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not having an affair. And you're like, that just sounds like he is having an affair. But that's the case for everything.
Yeah, every line he delivers is the most monotone, just flat thing, and it works to the movie's benefit in some ways. What were you gonna say, Billy?
Others, it doesn't. There's a very intense scene, which is
Intense,
the
yes.
second time you see Jim in his garage working on
Oh.
his Ferrari, and it was after him and his wife had a big fight. And
Oh, do we have the scene?
Keep talking,
okay,
Billy.
I'll
Keep
explain
talking,
it first.
boy.
So pretty much, his wife comes in out of nowhere.
She grabs a gun.
with a gun, and says, something.
I'm gonna shoot this car hole full of bullets.
Yeah, that's right. She's going to shoot the car and misses the car and shoots and kills him.
Jim.
Jim. And then their daughter comes down and the wife's like, he killed himself. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
no, the
After she
daughter
walked
says,
over-
you killed him.
Oh, I forgot.
And then she's like, we can't tell anybody about that.
Yeah.
Women are not to be trusted.
Yeah,
That's also a
that's
Breen
a big
theme.
theme in like a lot of his movies.
In the Breen verse.
So yeah, Jim gets murdered, and then Neil just so happens to be at the door when it
It's
happens.
Dylan. Neil is the
Dylan, of course, sorry. And he hears the gunshot and everything. You see him react to it, and then he's like, "What's going on? Is everything okay?" And then she answers the door and is like, "Jim killed himself," and he runs in, and this is what he says about his friend Jim, who has just committed suicide to his knowledge. Those are beer bottles.
Jim! Jim! Call 911! Jim! Jim!
Jim is visibly breathing, but that's not.
How could you have done this? Jim!
He's white blood on his
I
face.
can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide? I can't help you out of this one, Jim. With all we've been through, I can't pull you out of this one.
I can't believe you've committed suicide. I cannot believe it.
I think that's my favorite part of the whole movie.
That is a very funny moment just
Yeah.
through delivery of his lines.
And then
That's what it's like throughout the entire movie.
Yep.
That's every line this man delivers.
I think the best part of that scene, other than that intense monologue that he gives,
the soliloquy
is-
at the end of that.
yeah, is that every time it like changes from looking at Jim back to Dylan, he has more blood on his face.
Increasingly
And
more
it makes
blood.
no sense because I don't even understand
He
how
like
that
picks up
would've
Jim's dead
happened,
body and then just starts wiping his face with his blood.
but- Yeah, to
And
be
also
dramatic.
another thing that sort of just gets lost when we describe any of these scenes, but I would say that the level of background audio just consistently changes shot to shot to shot.
I'm pretty
to
sure
shot.
they heard that.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is on a format where, if anything, that's what they noticed. Yeah, it's quite the scene. And then after that, there's pretty much no more of Jim, his wife, or his daughter. That they're pretty much out of the movie after that.
I think there's one more scene
Well,
with his daughter where he just has to
yeah.
remind her, like, you can't do this. You can't try to seduce me anymore.
And then she quickly
really?
adds in, I don't know what to do. The police are at my house asking us questions, and me and my
Right.
mom don't know what to say. And then it's just never brought up again, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, we don't need the end of that story.
I
So
guess.
then
it's not, no.
Dylan
Don't say
I
I guess.
wanna know.
Dylan goes now to the lake, I guess, where he meets up with the girl who was his past love. He also goes on several appointments to different psychotherapists, one of which sits across from him in a large empty boardroom
A conference room. Like, literally, like, long table, lots of chairs.
The other he speaks to, like, knee touching knee
Folding
close
chairs.
in metal folding chairs in a closet.
in, like, the corner of a room.
And the whole time, he's just... Because the whole time that the scene where he's naked in that black room keeps popping up, and then he has, like, headaches, and he's like, what's happening to me? And the one therapist that's at the long conference table
older man.
Yes, it's an older man. And
Who looks like a goblin.
he looks crazy. Like something out of Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he looks like one of the bank tellers in Harry Potter.
Yeah. But that guy is like, no, it's all in your head. You don't know what you're talking about.
You
Here,
need
take
drugs."
these drugs
Yeah.
to help. 'cause
They'll make
that's what
your
you
brain right.
need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that it's his wife calling the therapist and being like, give him more drugs so she can take them.
Yep.
Many layers to this.
Yep. And then
Plot.
randomly, he's at the other therapist just
Yeah. In the same
Just
building,
'cause-
just like a different room, maybe.
in a storage closet.
Yeah.
And she's
Supply
all
closet.
like, oh, no, your visions are real. You
she's
must
very
believe
supportive
them.
of his spiritual
And it's
self.
just-
I would say she's maybe the only non-tainted other character in the movie, and it is the person who says, "Don't believe what anybody else says. You are special, and you are right, and you have power."
Well, I would say that the girl from his childhood is not tainted.
I would say she does not exist.
That's also fair.
She's just kind of there to be
That's true. She
just
doesn't do anything.
love interest. That's really
Yeah.
it. She has no depth.
She doesn't serve any purpose.
Nope.
She shows up, and that's about it. And then she's with him.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she's pure because how his current wife is all into these prescription
Pills.
drugs.
Well, so
and
well,
she isn't.
well, he's sort of like on a date with her, or a meet cute with this Destiny girl at the lake. His wife overdoses on pills.
Right.
Like, again, this is another thing where it's like it seems like a very crude or childlike approximation of what
Yep.
a literal like adult situation is. You know what I mean? So like we see this dude be it almost reminds me of do you watch like Kyle Mooney's like cut SNL skits?
No.
There's one with Larry David where he's like, "Oh, hey, you want to drink some beers? Like 1 for you, 5 for me." And then later he's like, "I let your goldfish die. I don't care. I only care about beer now." Like,
Yeah, no, that's very much it. His wife is just one-track mind, got to get the pills.
and the best part is she does that, and that's his turning point. He does not change as a person whatsoever over the course of this movie.
Why would he?
He is only set free by the death of his wife to
Suicide
pursue
of his
the new
wife.
person who is like in her bed less than 12 hours later.
Ugh. Oh god, yeah. Oh god.
No, this is I would say this is where the movie starts taking on it starts developing even more upsetting layers and themes.
Well, the most upsetting part's the end.
Yeah. But we still have some stuff to go
Yeah,
through.
we still have a lot. So what else is there?
What happens next after that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure after
they're
that,
haunted by a ghost two
Oh my
nights
God.
in a row.
That was the craziest
Wait.
thing.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
they're-
I forgot about
So
that.
they're sleeping in this bed, and
the most jarring thing in the world.
you see those feet.
His arms are like halfway.
they're at a right angle.
So you see those feet that were all the way back in like the hospital scene in the beginning, where it's clearly someone wearing suit pants, and I'm pretty sure
Nice
it's
shoes.
Neil Breen.
The
to
way
be honest.
the way the feet walk, I'm convinced it's Neil.
Yeah.
Well,
It
no,
has
I
to
think
be.
upon second, it's supposed to be his ghost that left his body when he was hit by a car.
Maybe.
Wow, you're really digging deep into
Yeah.
this, Ben.
But
Props. Have you been reading stuff online?
No, I watched it again. Somebody I watched
That's
it with
fair.
pointed that out, and I'm like, that probably would happen because the other movie we watched also involved him cowboy trading his souls for wings.
That's true.
His spurs for wings out of his body.
For wings. Oh yeah, because he comes out of his body,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Buster Scruggs style.
But yeah, so there's these feet, and then all like the paintings in the house are shaking, and then there's a scene where
Clearly, there's some.
Dylan
There's like the
gets-
scene where like the piece of paper is clearly attached to some fish
forgot
wire.
about
No
it.
painting
Piece of
moves from
paper.
anywhere but a bottom corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody had it on a fishing line and was kind of pulling
Just
it a bit,
jiggling
Just-
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yanking
yeah,
it. But
Yee.
and this is all happening as like these feet walk closer and closer to what you
Uh-huh.
would believe is their bedroom door, which
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. But
Oh wait, and how does the man with the shoes get into the house?
do they
He walks
show
up to the
that?
front door.
Phases through the door.
He
yeah.
disappears. Interior fades in.
Yeah, which why even have that? Like, why not just have him?
It's a being. It's not a physical.
Yeah, but why not have the being just appear inside the house? Why do we have to show it crossing like a few centimeters of wood?
You gotta
because
show
it doesn't
them
want.
how I
It
get in
shows us
there.
that it doesn't interact with our world. It can't
Oh.
touch physical objects and move them, except for the paintings and the paper
Yeah.
and the book.
Well, it
Yes.
also opened the door to get into the
No.
bedroom.
It did.
It did.
It did.
Yeah.
So what's the point of it fading out and then fading back in?
Maybe the front door was presumably locked.
Oh yeah,
so
maybe.
he had a
Maybe he didn't have the key.
phase.
And he did what he had to
Didn't
do.
have the key.
Wait, oh my god, I forgot about the part where
Because he phases later. Remember?
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was
That's
about to go
that's
on
why
to.
I think his body and soul were disconnected
okay.
and then reunited through like the stone or something.
Okay.
And that's remember the book
Yeah.
has a tassel, and the tassel is on the bed when they wake up, and then the girl is like, "Where did this come from?" And he's like, "I think our friend brought it to us last night,"
Yeah.
which is horrifying.
Also, another part of that whole interaction with this spirit was when Dylan. Sorry, Dylan, not Brian. Neil Breen, Dylan, gets woken up, and it was just weird.
He jolts out of bed with like his arms in a right angle,
Yeah.
palms open, fingers extended, eyes peeled open, just like
was-
sudden, like
It was not
jump scare
expected.
stuff.
Yeah, it was
yeah, it
literally
really-
a jump
Scarier
scare.
than anything in Hereditary.
Yeah, it really did. I hated it. It freaked me out.
Yeah, back up, Cronenberg.
It freaked me out. There's another scene where he just really slowly smiles when talking to like
The close-ups of him
yeah.
smiling are the
and
worst.
it's just it you know, he doesn't like I don't know if like there's a lot of stuff I feel like this dude doesn't like know.
I don't want to make any assumptions.
I know.
about
I'm
the
not
guy.
making any. I'm not. That's why I'm saying I feel like.
I feel like there's.
Do you want to not go down this road?
No, I don't. But I
Okay.
feel like there is some sort of disconnect between him and reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he clearly thinks things are one way when they're kind of not.
Yeah, and the way that he thinks things are happens to place himself at the center of all things.
Yes.
Um.
He's the most important being in all of his movies.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
clear he has this idea in real life where he has all the answers and everyone else is
Yes.
dumb. And if only they were to listen to him and his ideas, the world would be better. And that is expressed in, I feel like, every movie.
Every movie.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah,
everyone
we-
that I've
we do
seen.
learn
Yeah.
how to fix racism in his
Yes.
next movie.
Oh, God.
But I feel like now we get into the most jaw-dropping sequence. of
No,
the
we
film.
got to talk
No?
about his girlfriend getting kidnapped.
Sure.
That's when he fades. That's pretty much it. That's when it's revealed that Neil
my
can
God.
fade in and out of a trailer where.
He also doesn't understand how voicemail works, despite being a hacker.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's like trying to have a conversation with her through the answering machine.
Yeah, he's like, if you can pick up right now, like, what's going on?
What's going on?
'Cause he's
Are you
calling-
okay?
He's calling her phone because she disappeared
Yeah.
for, I don't even know why, to be
'Cause a
honest
guy
with you.
I think
kidnapped
the
her,
government.
remember?
I think he came from the government.
I guess.
Dude,
This whole movie
sure.
is
He also
a
then,
mishmash
well, I think he
of-
gets his
I don't
powers.
even know.
His powers to phase after he goes out into the desert, sees 3 ghosts, and then
Oh my
says,
God.
"Should I be afraid? Should we be afraid?" And then I think that gives him the power to
There's the
phase. I
book.
think that's
Okay.
where that's his like Captain Marvel.
Exploding ship scene.
Yes.
Spoilers for Captain Marvel, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude.
What? That there's a scene that involves getting powers.
Yeah, dude. Not funny.
So yeah, then he goes and saves her because he's the best.
Yep.
He also a really weird thing that I noticed on second viewing is she's like tied up, gagged and blindfolded in the
In the
trailer.
black trailer.
And he's like, when he rescues her, he's like, I know a way that I can rescue you, but you can't see it. So I have to put the blindfold back on you.
Yep.
And I also have to put the gag back on you because you can't, be freaked out by the phasing I'm about to do. But that's like maybe creepier than her being kidnapped in the first place.
Yeah.
So he phases through the wall of this trailer.
Yeah, but she can't see it.
She can't see it,
Because
I
then
guess.
she'll know he's got powers.
And then he's like, I know what I have to do now. I have
hard cut.
I have to tell the world what I've been working on. My secrets, government secrets, and corruption that I've been exposing.
So then there's a hard cut, like a very hard edit, to just him standing in front of a podium with a bunch of 5 microphones.
Like a green screen background.
Looks
Of,
like,
like-
the Capitol building.
It looks
almost.
like a Capitol building.
That's
It's just
fair.
got, it's like a white building with a bunch
Yeah.
of
It's a neoclassical building.
Yes, you get it. Something you'd find in the old DC. And he is just announcing how he hasn't been writing a book all along. We were kind of led to believe that he was writing his second book when working in his office on his 4 laptops.
Which we never see a computer that's turned on.
No,
No
not
entire
once.
movie.
I'm convinced that those aren't working computers.
Yeah, no, there's no way he has 4 computers because he's like, I need 4 computers for this, and not because I have 4 computers that the batteries are dead.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes on a rant about how he wasn't writing a second book all along, but instead has been looking up government and corporation secrets, both national and international.
That's the 2 main kinds.
Yes.
Yep.
And he, and like, and he just is like, yeah, I'm president of the bank. You've been exposed. Senator, you've been exposed.
It is cool that they agree to come to this press conference also.
Yes. There are 6 people in suits standing there in the same background. Listening, and then one of them, who goes first? Is it the
first is when I worked as a
Politician, maybe?
no, he's like when I worked as a like a financier, like a Wall Street financial guy. For us, profit was always more important than the customer. We tricked people knowingly because we're bad.
Yep.
If there's one thing I liked, it was stealing people's money. I'm scared to go to jail because I'm a coward now that people know my crimes. And then he takes out a gun and kills himself.
And you hear, boom, and then it hard
Hard cuts
to the next
person who's like, I was the president of the bank.
I only sought after my own self and greed as president of the bank.
And then it goes to this person tying a noose and like not
I am
not
resigning
graphically,
as the senator.
but more graphically than we expected, hanging.
Okay, yeah.
himself.
So like you see a noose, you see a shadow of like somebody putting
Yeah,
the rope
yeah,
on it,
yeah.
somebody's kicking a chair. You see another dude slitting his wrists in a bathtub.
all the while intercut with him receiving applause
Yeah.
at the
And
podium.
All this is
Smiling.
jarring edits of Neil Breen smiling with applause in the back, like close up his face. All you see is from like the top of his chin to the bottom of his forehead, smiling
Yep.
while there's people cheering, while people are
everyone
killing
is
themselves.
committing suicide in different ways that he clearly pre-planned and was like,
Except for
this
the people who
person's
just
gonna
shot
do this.
themselves.
There were only 2 of them though out of the 5 or 6 that
That's
shot
true.
themselves.
But
The
like
rest
it's
did-
this is the moment when I don't know, man, where it's like we've had
Eye-opening.
fun here, but like this is
this
like,
is dark.
this is
Yeah.
this is a person showing us a little too much about how they see the world, what they what the role that they see themselves as in the world. Like this man believes he's an instrument of something.
Yes.
And we there's also a part that I had forgotten about until I watched it again, where a sniper, as he's doing this, goes to kill him, and it's never explained, but he just psychically makes the bullet backfire and shoot the sniper instead.
Yeah.
Like he could have just made these dudes like guns not work, or like made these people repent.
No, the
but
guy
no,
had to die.
he makes them kill themselves. And I realized, I was talking to Teddy when we were watching it, and I was like, this dude watched Watchmen, and his favorite part was when Dr. Manhattan blows up Rorschach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, sick, awesome. That's the hero moment. Is like because he thinks he is like Dr. Manhattan. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where he's
yeah.
like, I'm so above these petty squabbles
All
of people.
powerful.
I wish that I could just make things right. Sometimes people are too dumb for their own good and need to be guided by someone who understands past, all the levels.
Someone like me.
A
AKA
philosopher
Neil
king
Breen.
like myself.
Yeah. And that's in every movie. Is
His ego.
pretty much at the end, he's like, you should listen to me, and just shows how the world would be a better place
Yeah.
if he got his way.
Do you guys want to hear what the plot description is on Google?
Yes.
I imagine it's sparse.
It's a sentence. Ready? It's pretty misleading. A boy develops
No.
amazing. Hold on.
A grandfather.
A boy develops amazing mystical powers and uses them as an adult to hack government databases. It's pretty accurate, huh? It
Maybe
leaves
if you
out a
watch
lot.
the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes.
Exactly.
It's just the clip of Luke in The Last Jedi being like, incredible. Every word you just said was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Google users didn't like this movie as much as all the other movies we've talked about on this show. Guess what the percentage is?
2.
What? Do you know how Google percentages work? Google users they love
everything.
Dude, like the worst movie we watch, 92%.
They love
my
everything.
God.
Yeah, like so guess what this is at?
85.
What's the 67?
Ooh, 65.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's garbage. That's so bad.
What was the worst movie we watched that got like the 90s something?
Wolf Warrior, I think.
This is a
had-
better movie.
What?
This is a better movie than Wolf Warrior 2.
Yeah, all right. I got more enjoyment out of it. That's for
Absolutely.
sure. All right, to be fair.
It has a thing that it wants to say.
Yeah. I mean,
It
so does Wolf
says it.
Warrior.
In a
but-
merit-based artistic society, this has more of a right to exist than Wolf Warrior 2 does.
That's fair. Yeah, no. I've seen this movie probably watched it again this week, probably like for the 4th time. I watched it a lot like 4 years ago when I discovered it and showed it to all my friends. And I forgot completely about the ending with the government.
Yeah, you were losing it.
I was
Yeah.
a mess. There was like, you know the term like, oh, I laughed so hard I cried. It was like I was crying so hard that I laughed.
Just in an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
There was snot everywhere. I couldn't breathe. My
Hashtag
stomach
ugly
hurt.
cry.
Yeah, it was an ugly cry. And then it happened again, but worse when the credits rolled. Because
Oh my god.
so the credits are my favorite part of this movie. I don't care what anybody else says. The coffee scene, the suicide scene, all funny, whatever. Nothing beats the credits. So, it's like directed by Neil Breen, produced by Neil Breen, written by Neil Breen.
Sound,
sound
music
by Neil Breen, edited by another guy and Neil Breen. And then cast different people. And then it's like food services, eats N apostrophe eats.
Yeah.
And it's like something. It's like bed.
B&B
Yeah.
LLC.
Yeah. And then it's
Uh-huh.
like international B entertainment.
NNN
Yeah.
And
audio
then- yeah,
design.
stuff like that. And then
There's a little paragraph.
there's like a couple sentences that says any business or company or whatever that has a capital N or B in the title is just a property of Neil Breen. And that's in the moment you realize, wait, there have been like 6 companies that have been N and B. He did all of that. There's nothing that this guy didn't do for this
Why-
movie besides get stock music.
Why would you
Why
even put
do
that,
that?
in?
Why like
Exactly,
Because he's like
it's-
gotcha.
Yo, I'm so
like
funny.
yeah.
Maybe it's
what?
just like he didn't want to oversaturate the credits with his name. I don't know. Like what? It doesn't make any sense, but it's the greatest thing ever.
So
It's part of the charm.
so yes. I don't. There's a lot that I want to say about ways that I feel about Neil Breen and his psyche. But we're also
How are you gonna go about that?
we're also being kind of careful.
Yeah.
Because I'm not promising anything.
We did a little research.
We have some angles in the works.
Yeah.
We have.
Let's just say we got some contact information.
We might have.
I spoke on the phone with the guy.
Yes. We might
Very
have,
briefly.
Yes. We might have. So we don't want to.
Do you just want to say like what happened that night?
No, I don't want because then if
Oh,
I
'cause
don't
they
want
could
it to
yeah.
in any way possibly,
That's fair.
or I don't want it to be inundated by other people because
Yeah.
our show has that level of influence.
Yeah. People will do what we say.
Yeah. I don't want this like trending and like go viral or whatever. You know. But so we're waiting to see how some things pan out before.
We're trying our hardest, guys.
Yeah, before
We're trying our hardest.
No Neil Breen this week.
That doesn't mean anything for next week.
But
Most
like,
likely no Neil Breen. though.
but like, yeah, there's some more kind of harsher opinions that I have,
of this guy.
of how he perceives women, or like
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that seem bad, just flat out.
yeah.
Those don't seem like
like
good
you
beliefs.
should be troubled by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a Tommy Wiseau situation where it's like every
I,
woman's evil, and like just his views on women.
Tommy Wiseau never makes all the bad people kill themselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
He just makes the good guy kill himself, and then everybody
Yes.
else suffers because
Yes.
of it.
Oh my
It's
god.
tragic. Neil Breen never kills himself.
No. Yeah, in the one time I was convinced he was going to die for what he believed in, but no, he deflected the bullet with his mind.
Exactly. He just looked at the guy, sort of blinked, and then
Yeah.
looked away. Boom, guy's dead. Taken care of.
So, we have some stuff. We'll see how it works out.
No promises.
No promises.
Obviously.
But
We can't promise anything for
no.
this show.
But that would, I mean, yeah.
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
We're putting too much energy.
We'll probably
into
let
that.
you know what happens one way or another, though.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do a follow up.
Yeah. We'll do a debrief.
Yeah. So do you guys want to get into the next movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So yeah, we figured we could talk a lot more about Fateful Findings because it was the funniest.
I would say there's the most depth to it, for
Yeah.
sure. There's
personally,
a lot to
it's my favorite Breen picture.
There's a lot to pick apart. There's a lot of layers, although I do think that his writing improved in this one. And
I
think
agree.
his sense for imagery became more pronounced.
Yes. This was also after he kind of got a little popular. I believe in 2015, that's when
That's when
The
he
splash
got
in the
any sort of
internet.
like cult recognition.
Yeah, I remember like maybe in like junior or senior year of high school, I was on Reddit and somebody posted in the movies subreddit being like, the next Tommy Wiseau, this looks so bad that it's funny. And I watched the trailer to it. I rolled my eyes at it. I was like, yeah, there's no way there'll be another Room type guy. It was only like a year later when I saw some YouTuber put out a video on it. I watched some clips and he was hilarious from then on out. I believe since then he's grown a cult following. People have bought his DVDs. His showings of Twisted Pair get sold out now.
We almost went to New York.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
We would have spent 12 hours in the car one day going to New York to see Twisted Pair live.
Yeah. But like, I think you made an important point though, which is unlike Tommy Wiseau, he has not become a self-parody.
Yes.
He has not devolved into sort of a fan service, because in one sense, I think his ego is too big to
Yep.
pander to the fact that people like it because it's
Bad.
yes.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's not willing to do that, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't compromise his own artistic vision, which is
He won't ever
honestly
compromise.
admirable.
Yeah.
Honestly admirable. I mean, it depends. It depends how in debt he is. If he's like super in debt, then that's not admirable.
Dude's a real estate agent in Las Vegas. There's no way he's in any kind of debt. But yeah.
So in this one, he solves racism and immigration, which I thought was cool. Like a lot of people would use their fame and their platform to sort of, like I want to talk about, I really want to make this movie about, whatever. I want to make this movie about blah, blah, blah. No, he
Give
solves
some
the issues.
specific examples of people like that.
People making their movies about like issues that an inconvenient truth.
Yeah.
Right. Stuff where it's like,
A Michael Moore documentary.
yeah. They want it, but he gets into it and solves racism, which I thought was very cool.
Very woke.
He did make an interesting point that people fight each other and hate each other for irrational reasons like skin color and ethnicity and culture, and that if we didn't, the world would be a better place, which I thought was that was very fresh to me.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. No, he's not wrong that like there's corruption in
Exactly. He's not
governments and
wrong that like
corporations.
the government.
He's
and
not wrong. He's just
corporations-
insane.
It's the way he goes about these topics that makes
I
it-
also do think he takes his political stances he takes every issue and flips a coin. Like it's really just a grab bag of stances, because the whole time we were like, so how does he feel about this? Because it's a border drama. It's a taut sort of Sicario-esque
Deo
border
Soldado.
drama. Sicario Deo Soldado, but if a AI traveled back in time to teach people not to be racist.
Oh my god, I forgot. He was
But
an
then
AI.
yes, his name was Light, and so very much like a Sicario situation.
Yeah. I honestly can't really talk about this movie that much.
They clearly found just a bunch of cool stuff in the desert
Yeah.
that they wanted to have shots of,
There's
which I
literally
thought was really
I would
funny.
say a solid 10 minutes of the movie is just drone shots.
Yeah.
All of
he got a
which-
drone for Christmas that year.
Yeah, and the camera quality on those drone shots, I'm sorry, it is horrible. It's choppy. There's chunks everywhere, and it doesn't move properly. It's just
I remember when we started it, that was like the first shot is a drone
yeah,
shot.
and we thought something was wrong.
Yeah, we thought we got a corrupted copy or something. Like we were like, "Uh-oh, this is a bad version of the film." And no, that's just every drone shot.
Wait, do you know what his name is in this movie?
He has 3. He's
Yeah.
credited as having 3 names.
It's AI slash
Light backwards.
Fagil?
It's light
yeah,
backwards.
it's light backwards.
And then light.
I hate that. I hate light backwards. That's like light backwards is like literally level 1. You know, Alucard is Dracula backwards.
Yeah.
And then level 2 is just like, if he's a AI, his name would be like the word for light, but in
3,000.
Latin, right? Like that's on that level is like just
Yep.
the like it, you know, and then right above that is like Han Solo, right? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, he becomes the champion of immigrants everywhere.
So I got a quick question.
Yes.
I'm reading the IMDb description, and it's a sentence. Can you guys let me know if this accurately describes the movie?
Okay.
Yeah.
A messianic entity from the future travels to modern-day Earth to wipe out 300 million bad people and usher in a new era of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Again, first
300
15
there was
minutes
300
and last
million
15
people?
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he
Oh my
genocides
God.
the world.
I remember I
It
started
is
making
not a
food at the
genocide.
end.
I mean, because technically Thanos didn't do a genocide because they were people chosen at random and not through any, creed background or
Well,
whatever.
Breen chose these people because they're
He
the
did
bad ones.
because he deemed them bad.
Yep.
Because that is the ultimate expression of his ideology, is that the world would be solved if the smartest people
Moi.
Neil Breen.
were allowed, were given the mandate to do immense and sweeping actions for the greater good of everyone, because he understands and he is the arbiter of morality, because as we could see by the fact that he doesn't do drugs, doesn't do anything. If he's guilty of anything, it's cheating on his wife and not caring when she overdoses.
If you
And
could
if that's a
even say
crime, if that's bad, then I guess I'm bad.
And shoot me in the back.
and if being in a crime family is bad,
Then lock me up.
but he's like, I need to kill the bad people. I don't think his ideology is as specific or sadistic enough that bad people is a dog whistle for certain types of people. I legitimately don't think it is.
Yeah, no.
I don't think he's trying to say people with certain backgrounds or certain political beliefs. I think he's saying
anybody
people
who's
who
bad.
Neil Breen, think make the world worse.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah.
And it is not painted as bad. It's painted as a hero doing a hard thing for the greater good.
It's like Lone Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
What are we going to do? Not kill him? Exactly.
They're also the same. It's all the same groups of people from Fateful Findings: politicians, lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
CEOs.
This one includes the media,
corporations.
though, because it was made in
yeah.
2016.
Yup,
True.
Fake news.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy's political views
I think
are.
I do. But
I think they're all over the place.
I think they're all over the place. I think they
I think
trend.
he voted for Jill Stein.
I think
He
they
would.
trend QAnon.
he would be the
Yeah.
type of guy who's like, I hate being Democrat. I hate being
Yes.
Republican. I'm my own person. I have my own beliefs.
Then what does he vote for on the ballot?
I
Nothing.
don't.
I bet
Does-
he
he does
doesn't
not vote.
vote.
No, I think he thinks voting
It's
is.
rigged.
He
He's
probably
a
thinks-
if voting
Not
did
wrong.
anything, they'd make it illegal guy.
Yeah. And everyone on the ballot is a crook and shouldn't be in power anyway. So
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
He's like, well, he writes in like the Dalai Lama or something. Like
He definitely writes in himself.
he writes in Neil Breen. Yeah.
Like he wants to be the ultimate ruler of the world.
But like, and he would call himself some evil thing that like he saw in a movie, like some Vulcan or AI called
Yeah.
themselves, that in the context of whatever he saw is supposed to have negative connotations. Like he would call himself like the High Arbiter or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
something
yeah.
clearly like that's a bad guy title. Like,
But he wears it with like pride.
yes, he'd be like, I am the righteous chancellor.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so there's a lot of racial sensitivity throughout this movie, and I think nowhere is it clearer than the fact that the immigrants to this country are just a mixture of non-white people traveling over the southern border of the United
Nothing
States.
specific.
Nothing specific except for not one thing specific.
Exactly.
And it's really weird because they always this is almost what I hate the most is his attempts at tastefulness of being like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say what country they're immigrants from, and I'm not gonna say what fake news network this is. I'm not gonna say if it's CNN or if it's Fox News. I'm gonna let the viewer decide for themselves, and I'm not gonna say what country these people are from. But they all tell the same story. They're like, my husband was killed in my country. And then the guy's like, my wife was killed in my country. And they all have like American accents and dialects because they're all
American.
people.
There's no way any of these people.
It kind of reminded me almost of the thing in Wolf Warrior where it's like the sassy African American grandma in Africa where it's like, well, it wouldn't be like that. Where it's just like a black person crossing the border who like speaks with like a African American accent from like Brooklyn or something. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, this is clearly the person's actual culture and identity is clearly irrelevant to you. All that's important is when he breaks into their truck to save them and explains to them that they need to go back to their own country.
That's the
Go back to your homeland and make it better.
He's like, basically go back and be the Neil Breen of Mexico.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He tells people
Or
to go.
wherever you're from. Because I'm not going to, I'm not going to get down in the dirt, in the mudslinging with these people. I'm going to say, your country.
Yeah. The message ends up being go back to your home country and make it better there.
Yeah.
do what I'm doing, but over
Expose
there.
the government there. Which is weird because he does end by magically murdering several 100 million bad people. So kind of what is left for them to do then? I know that that's like a level of question that is so far beyond what this movie is trying to even think about. But
Yeah,
like
if all the bad people are killed,
he's
then why
already
is
he Thanos'd every bad person or every like because people
Every
you
person he
guys
thought
you
was
know how
bad.
people can either be good or bad, like how that's the thing is
Black
that
and
you
white,
can
yeah.
oh
Oh, come on.
no, but like people are either good or bad, and it comes across in the way that he writes, every character.
Mm-hmm.
And he kills them all magically. And then he and his romantic interest, who is Latina to show,
And much
again,
younger.
he understands. And it doesn't matter that she's gorgeous, and they walk hand in hand through
Oh, my God.
like a field stacked high with the bodies of the immoral and unworthy.
It's on the poster of the movie.
And that is, I think, the most haunting...
Oh my
The most
God.
haunting part of any movie
Yeah.
is... It's actually one of the most haunting things I've seen in a movie. Because you know that this is this person's worldview that they have without a shred of irony or self-awareness.
Oh, yeah.
Is that they will be the cleansing fire. That, like, using specifically dialogue and tropes and things people say that are bad guys. Like, no good guy ever says, like, we need to purify the human race.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Yeah, like stuff that if you knew how people talk about things,
How history has been?
yeah, and like you would know that these aren't the tropes that you emulate to be like, you would know, but he just
Yeah.
doesn't.
Whew. Yeah, that was a lot. Anything else you guys want to say about Pass Through?
There's also some pretty distasteful depictions of suicide where
Oh,
somebody
again?
goes up, somebody's in like a migrant, like halfway house sort of situation where they're mistreated, and then they go off. They're like, "I'll be right back." Then they go into the bathroom, and then one of the like orderlies at this place walks in, and they've hung themselves in the bathroom, and they're like, "Dang it!"
Not again.
It was just very like, "Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez."
Yeah, he wants to tackle big subjects, but doesn't really
He like
know how to.
he kills one of the news anchors for like the fake news thing. Who like
Yep.
Oh, right, yeah.
he like goes on the show and he's like, "You don't care about the truth. You don't.
Oh, yeah.
All that's
only
important
wants
to you
truths.
is lying to people. You distort truths, and this is why. Because he comes at it initially with like a very edgelord, like not like a very edgelord, like dark enlightenment sort of angle of like. Actually, human beings don't deserve to be saved because they hate each other over stupid things like race. And that's supposed to be a very like Star Trek: The Next Generation, like, oh, it makes you think, like, are we worth it? But like, it's just the vehicle for him to know better than everybody.
Yep.
And I'm not saying like you think you know better than us. I'll be racist all I want. Like, no, obviously we shouldn't be but like, his solution is to be good instead of be bad, which shows that he's not the person to tackle these problems.
Also, he expressed multiple times that people don't deserve second chances.
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
deserve third chances.
Yeah.
You get one shot, and if you're bad, you're gone. Eye for an eye type deal. That's
He
his
Dr.
mentality.
Manhattan someone like in this movie. He just like had a scene where he's like, somebody puts a gun on him and he has the gun psychically turn in the
I
hand,
remember
the
that.
shaking hand, and shoot themselves, which is a bad guy move.
Yeah.
That's like a
That's straight up like something a villain has done in movies that I have
absolutely.
seen.
That's a bad guy move.
Yeah.
That is
Our hero does
and
it.
he's like, I need to cleanse the human race.
Yeah.
They are inferior.
Yeah. Lot of touchy stuff on this.
Again, I do want to make it clear because I don't want to be like slanderous. I do not think that this dude was endorsing any sort of like real life
Yes.
forms of like genocide
Violence. Yeah.
or hate crimes or
Yeah,
violence.
I don't think this guy's condoning any
no,
violence.
I
think he's
I
just,
think he sees himself as smart enough to deal with these things outside of the historical context
Yeah.
these sorts of
Yeah.
themes exist within.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think he's got bad intentions. I just think it's clear that he doesn't have a solid understanding of whatever it is he's trying to get into.
And that he should not be allowed a shred of power ever. Right? Like, do not.
yes, don't give this man anything.
Like, don't let him, like, I don't know.
Just let him
Like,
sell
don't
real
let him,
estate.
like, pet sit. Like, anything. Like, I'm talking.
Not even if it's a goldfish.
Like, no. This. Oof.
No way.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear what the Google description is for this movie? It's different.
Yeah.
An artificial intelligence from the future visits Earth to kill all humans.
Honestly, I feel like that's more accurate than the first one.
No, in the movie he specifically is like, we're killing the bad ones.
Wait, I have a question.
I guess.
'cause-
But
Yeah.
he said in multiple points, all humans are inferior, and if only they were more like him,
Well,
they'd be better off.
So that's where his writing has gotten significantly better. Is
Mm-hmm.
that he sets it up where he does change, right?
Yeah.
He goes
There's
from
an arc.
I think he does come back to kill all humans.
Yeah.
And then he decides, no,
There's some good ones.
just 300 million of them. You know what I mean? Like,
Only
just
about the
countless
population of
men,
America.
women, and children.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well, there's no bad children.
We don't
there
know.
are, though. There are, and he killed them.
Were
Like,
there
there's
children
no
in this
way
movie?
none of those people were bad. We didn't see it on screen.
Oh, okay.
But, like,
okay.
I'm saying logistically,
Gotcha.
and also, like, what about people who do good things and bad things? Like, this is insane. But, like, he evolves. He changes. He takes pity on the humans, and he realized that even though they are ants, and I am their destroyer, even some ants are not wrong for their ignorance.
Exactly.
They should be guided and shown the way. He's Dr. Manhattan,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, yeah, he's the all-knowing being.
Yes. And there are a couple scenes where the writing is clearly better, where somebody asks him like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." And we're like, "Oh, he's not fine right now, but he said I'm fine." And there we go. Boom, one layer. That's one layer, and it's now better than Fateful Findings. He acted a way and felt a different way.
That's why I think this movie is worse.
Yeah.
Because it's better
I
than
agree.
Fateful Findings. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about that movie.
I want to
that
see
gets
what
me.
Twisted Pair tackles.
I'm scared.
Do you
I
think
feel
it's going to
like
be about like
horrified.
fake news?
Dude, it's
and
2018.
Yeah.
What
I don't
could it be
know.
about?
It's going to be whatever it is, the ending where everyone dies, because that's how all his movies are going to end.
Only
That's
bad
just
people.
what he's got to do.
Only the bad ones.
people.
Only the
'cause
corrupt
he's
and the
changing.
greedy.
But it's getting worse and worse. Like in Fateful Findings,
Yeah, it's only like
maybe
6 people
5
who
or
kill
6 people.
themselves.
This one, 300 million, and then he walks through the bodies happily with his love interest, smiling, walking back to his spaceship
Yeah.
to leave the planet
With
that
his
he
teeth.
has just saved by murdering millions.
My God.
So I can only imagine how.
How do you
scary
solve
the
a
ending of
problem?
Twisted
You
Pair is
kill
gonna
it.
be. That's what you got to do. There's just some people who need to die.
Somebody needs
That's
to make
his ideal.
somebody with more talent than me needs to make an edit of. We talked about how it looked a lot like Logan because it does.
Yeah.
But somebody really needs to make an edit between this and Infinity War, where it's like Neil Breen and he's like, "Fun isn't something one generally considers when balancing the universe, but this puts a smile on my face," and he just has like a slow smile.
Walking through bodies.
Yeah.
Also,
Perfectly balanced.
who wants to guess the percentage of Google users that like this one?
Less. I think it's less than before.
I'm gonna say it's higher. 73.
41.
84.
Whoa!
Oh man.
Also has a higher IMDb rating.
What's the IMDb rating?
This is at a 5.6. The other one was a 4.7.
Moving on up. What's Twisted Pair at?
It's getting review bombed, though, I heard.
Oh.
No.
Who'd you hear that from?
Whoa!
Okay, all right,
What's
hold on.
Twisted Pair at?
So on Google,
It's gonna be high because the only people who know that this movie came out are gonna so it's gonna be like 96 or higher.
92% on
Yeah.
Google, 8.2 8.2 on IMDb.
Yeah, which is insane.
Wait, my favorite rating? 5 out of 5 on Facebook.
I thought you were gonna say Roger Ebert.
No, he does it out of 4.
Yeah, classy.
I'm clicking on this.
Well, he makes exceptions.
Hold on. The 5 out of 5 on Facebook is literally the Facebook page, and it says, based on the opinion of 38 people, 5 out of 5.
All right.
That's clearly just some people saw the movie and
They
went
were
on
like
Facebook.
Neil Breen.
I think IMDb is always my favorite for bad movies because like IMDb reviewers are some of the most humorless people in the world.
Yeah.
And he hasn't aged a day.
Sorry, I just showed them a picture of Neil.
But like they are some of the most humorless people in the world where like it could be, these movies, somebody will write a review and be like, I think that there were several inconsistencies here that made the movie what did you find? What did you discover?
I'm on his Facebook right now, and I found something really funny.
We were on it the other day.
Yeah, but this is 4 hours ago.
What?
Go on.
Happy Saint Hack Tricks Day. Make sure to pinch anyone not wearing Breen.
Whoa.
Hack Tricks Day. What does that mean?
I hate that. I don't
Make
like
sure
that.
to pinch anyone not wearing Breen.
Can you imagine? So imagine what this dude was like.
Whoa.
Imagine what this dude is like to interact with on a daily basis before he became slightly internet famous.
Yeah.
And now that he's like, is everyone wearing Breen? Can you imagine knowing this dude?
Here's my thing. I think this actually might just be a fan page.
I think
I'm
so.
sorry to
I don't know. He
everybody
doesn't
I'm
have a
talking to
Facebook.
right now. No, his movies have Facebook pages.
Yeah, but-
because we've seen them, and it's clearly him promoting his movies.
But
and his Twitter
from
account
what we
is just
know,
him promoting his movies.
of him,
he would not make jokes like that.
and from personal information we know about him, I see him as either a dude not tech savvy enough to have a social media presence, or a guy who refuses to on the basis of he doesn't want the Illuminati getting his information.
Yeah, no, totally.
The government.
The
will find
lizard
too
people.
Much about him.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Neil Breen memes now, and they're really funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody, you can't see those.
But
yeah,
like,
I'll stop.
I'm really excited to watch Twisted Pair.
Whenever
excited to watch
we
this
can
first,
obtain,
too.
I think we're gonna. I'm gonna get them. Like, I'm gonna bite the bullet.
You're gonna bite the bullet?
Yeah, I have.
Whoa.
Oh man. Yeah, it's fair. These things are not gonna be around forever.
Yeah, and they will only appreciate in value. And then, maybe
That's
maybe
true.
one time, I'm having someone over. I have a lady over, perhaps. They're gonna be like, "Hey, is that a DVD copy of Double Down?" And I'm gonna be like, "It is."
How could you tell?
Yeah.
It's in a CD case.
Do you think he even writes double down on the CDs, or he's just like, yeah, you'll figure it out?
DD.
I think he just writes hieroglyphs on them.
He just writes Neil Breen and the E.
He just
Well,
sends
he
you a
actually signs
DVD, and
them.
it's an uncut documentary about like how the Mayans predict that the world will end in the year 2012
I can see him
in
as
the
believing
future
that.
tense.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have anything else to say about my man Neil Breen?
I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too.
Yeah, I want to see what his sixth
Billie-
movie's gonna be.
If for some reason next week
Uh-huh.
we can obtain Mr. Breen,
Uh-huh.
In any way, or even quotes, or
yeah,
maybe a soundbite, or
something.
Soundbite.
We I guess if we get quotes, you don't have to come back. But if we had like a long form interview with the man,
I don't think that's. I don't. I
No,
think there's
no,
a
this is-
0%.
yeah,
chance
no,
that
I shouldn't be discussing this on air because it's a pipe dream. But
Yeah.
like
Like,
would you come back?
yes, but also I feel like the whole time, if I were to talk to this man, I'd be so scared.
I'd be
Like if I was
terrified. I'm gonna be
alone in a
terrified.
room
This is.
with
I
him,
think this is where I
I'd be
come
scared.
in.
Yeah, Ben can keep his cool.
I think that I think that this is literally my greatest strength in life is just straight face talk, having an absurd conversation with someone.
I mean, I can do that too. I'm just more or less scared of Neil Breen.
You're scared of
He's a scary individual.
yeah.
He has.
You've seen his movies?
Yeah,
That
he
is true.
has crazy opinions, and I like. Does he think? Would I be one of those 300 people?
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Neil
I'm sure we
Breen's
would.
eyes?
I'm sure we would.
I'm sure we
because-
are.
Because we made this.
'Cause we've,
we made this like episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would be an interesting person to talk to, definitely. But the whole time,
Yeah, I
I would
need-
need someone like holding my hand.
Yeah,
telling
no,
me it's gonna be
there needs to be a
okay.
chaperone.
But then you look over and it's Neil Breen.
you turn it's just another one. Twisted pair.
I didn't like what you said about me the other day.
God. I feel like that would make a great movie. Like three kids or just three people that become super obsessed
Yeah.
with this person who makes these films that are independent and have this crazy cult following, and then they end up like interviewing him and all this, and then he just becomes obsessed with them.
That
And
actually
it gets
is-
real
Yeah.
creepy.
That's actually like a legitimately
No,
good premise.
that wasn't bad.
Like that's really good. It's
Nobody
like a
steal
reverse.
that.
Hold on to that
No
one.
one steal that.
It's like a reverse.
I already got it copyrighted. Stop.
Like a reverse John Lennon situation where like they invite John Lennon on a podcast and then he becomes like obsessed with them and then
Yeah.
murders them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. Might be real life.
That's what yesterday is going to be about. It's about John Lennon killing this dude.
Oh my god.
But also, now that nobody remembers who the Beatles are, he just sounds like a crazy person. He's like, John Lennon is coming to kill me. And they're like, who?
John Lemon? All right, you guys wanna call it?
yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say except go watch Fateful Findings. It's on Vimeo.
Yeah, it's on Vimeo. Get it.
I
while
don't
you
think
can.
we're legally allowed to promote that.
Oh,
No, we're not.
sorry.
But get it while you can.
We committed a crime, I think.
It's on Vimeo, dude.
That's, yeah.
We didn't commit the crime.
That's true. And he also, given the lengths he's gone to scrub all these other things, if there's one piece of his work that he has out there as just a little tease.
yeah,
think
to
it's
get
a
you,
little,
come wanting more.
a little glance across the room.
Yeah.
You know, a little ankle. here and there.
Regardless, though, you should maybe look into buying one of his films.
I don't know how badly I want to support this.
Well,
man.
no, this is what I said. I have the exact
It's
opposite
just
argument.
like it's,
Oh,
Which
okay.
is that
Whoa.
I'm like, you know, I pirate a decent amount of movies.
Whoa.
I think
Wow.
Whoa.
I have. I
FBI.
have 6 years ago.
The FBI is gonna kick down the door
Like-
right now and take you out.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try.
Oh my gosh.
It's me, Dan, and I don't care what the FBI do to me. Waterboard me, take me to Guantanamo. I'd like to see them try.
Jeez.
I challenge any of them to lift a finger to me.
Hi, Dan Calkane. First and last name, everybody.
If you don't like it, if you don't like what we're saying, then shut me up with brute strength. But like I like 6 years ago I used to pirate a lot of movies, and
Yeah, go on.
I would be like, I would make the call. I'm like, is this a moral wrong? And in the eyes of Neil Breen, this is how I know that I would be killed in The Purge. But that being said, I would ask, you have to ask yourself, like, when is it important to support what somebody's making?
That's true.
If it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it doesn't matter. It's not you're not giving
Nobody's-
this person residuals on it. It's not.
Yeah, the original creator's not making money
If it's
off that.
someone who's doing fine, if it's something that was a massive box office success, Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
something like that. But if it's an independent movie, and it's something that you want to see more of, and that is coming out with some urgency and relevancy, I think it's important that you support the creator, and also it's the only way to get the movies.
You just made a real good argument for Mr. Breen.
Yeah.
Shucks. I've been proven wrong.
But this is
But we're not buying the product for the intended purpose.
No one is.
Well,
That's a good point.
I mean, the point of film is to get some enjoyment out of it. I feel.
I don't
like.
think he believes
He would
that all
not be
forms
happy
of
about
entertainment are equally valid.
Yeah, he would not agree.
Yeah,
with
We're
that.
not
right.
taking him
You're
seriously
right.
enough. We're
Okay.
not. I don't think he's like, they're not supposed to laugh at me. They're
Yeah.
supposed to fear me.
Yeah,
He's like-
exactly.
We're supposed to agree with his message
Yeah.
and like, oh my god, he's like Charles Manson. I feel like he definitely sees this internet following as like, these are my followers.
I don't think so. I think, and that's why I think. Look, we'll
Maybe.
talk more about this
Hopefully next week.
off the air.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about what the best way to present yourself to someone like this is.
Yes.
But like, I don't know. I think he probably resents. But like, can you, if this isn't your main job and you're making money off of it? I don't know. But I think he doesn't feel like he's being appreciated as the prophetic and, dare I say, Christ-like.
Yes, very Christ-like.
Yes, very Christ-like. But if Christ had the the guts to really
The bulls.
really dig down and kill 300 million people.
You guys didn't see this one, but in his second movie, I Am Here.
I am here
now.
now.
Yeah, he is in like Jesus robes throughout a lot of the movie, and there's like computer chips and boards coming out.
He
of the
does
sleeves
literally
and his
describe
chest.
himself as a messianic entity,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So he is
Incredible.
Christ-like. Yes.
Incredible.
Yep.
And not even that, but also, like by definition, a Messiah, passes some form of ultimate judgment, some form of all will be made clear, all will be righted, all that was wrong will be righted. He rode astride a pale horse, and its name was Death.
Yeah. Listen up, new parents. Don't go around telling your kids that they're special or that they're one of a kind.
I know
or
that-
whatever, because this is what you
Yeah.
get. You get your Neil Breen.
I know we have a lot of young parents sort of come to our show for advice.
Yeah. Here, take a piece of it
Yes.
right now.
And-
Don't
I'm
tell
a
your
young
kid
parent.
that
Also-
they can do anything.
I don't know. I was trying to think of something Judy Greer did in 3:10 to Paris.
Don't believe in any statistics.
Yeah,
Only
yeah,
believe
yeah. My God is bigger
in
than
your
your
God.
statistics. And
Yeah.
Neil Breen is bigger than God. So
Exactly. Neil Breen is bigger than any statistic
Yes.
that's ever been
Yes.
evered.
he made the statistics.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He made the statistics
Wake
of
up.
killing 300 million bad people.
Yeah, I'm assuming "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine is explicit.
Yeah, I would assume anything
Okay.
by Rage.
Yeah.
We could play Wake Up by Arcade Fire.
That's not as funny.
No, it's not as funny. but
Well,
it's
no,
got the
we
same
actually had
title.
something prepped to play us out.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so
This is just a little bit of a tangent. Is we went down sort of a rabbit hole over the weekend.
so this week was a mess.
Yeah.
In terms of this episode.
Yeah,
It
this
doesn't-
this episode like was very close to being having no cohesive theme.
Yeah. It's close to not even existing, if we're being honest.
Which is fun because like the theme is like literally if somebody asks what our show is about, it's like we talk about movies and they're like, okay, so like what's the angle? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess we have like a theme every week. And I was like, if we just ended up doing 3 unrelated things, the show would now have no
yeah.
like you could not even argue that there was a premise to it.
No. Yeah, we at the top of this week we watched a Neil Breen movie and we're like, oh, that was great. And then we considered it for the show, but we're like, we don't know how played out that is.
We wanted to do versus movies.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, what if we did like verse movies, like Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator.
We watched Freddy vs. Jason and we watched Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys.
Yeah, because I found out that the Puppet Master series has a versus movie.
I found out that Puppet Master was a movie and that there was a series and that Demonic Toys was a movie and
yeah.
also a series.
Yes.
And that they versed each other.
Yeah, and it's a sci-fi original, and we watched about 10 minutes of it, and it was pretty horrible.
It was bad and not fun bad.
Yeah, it was the movie that made us go, oh, we can't do this.
Yeah. It's rare that we were watching it we were like, we can't.
There's nothing to talk
we
about.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't.